Today we will discuss trigonometric functions and the sign of trigonometric functions in different quadrants with the help of a unit circle. This is the Cartesian plane. I have considered a unit circle. Unit circle means radius is 1 unit. I have considered a unit circle whose center is at origin. Right? Now, radius of this circle is 1 unit. So, can you tell me the coordinates of the point A? Yes, it will be 1, 0. Because point A is on x-axis, so y coordinate has to be 0. And because this distance is 1 unit, because it is the radius of the circle, which is 1 unit. So, x coordinate will be 1. Similarly, this distance is 1 unit and the point lies on y-axis. So, coordinates of the point B will be 0, 1. Here, coordinates of the point C will be -1, 0. And coordinates of the point D will be 0, -1. Right? Now, consider a point P with coordinates A, B on the circle such that length of this arc AP is A, x units. Arc AP is x. Length of the arc AP. Length of arc AP is x. Yes. Now this arc AP will subtend this angle at the center of the circle. Right? Now we have learned that theta in radian is equal to L by R, where theta is the angle subtended by the arc at the center of the circle, L is the length of the arc, and R is the radius of the circle. Now, length of the arc is x and radius of the circle is 1 unit. So, theta will be equal to x radian. Theta is the angle subtended by the arc at the center. That means this angle is x radian. So, this angle is x radian. Now, what I'll do, from this point P, drop a perpendicular PM on x-axis. Right? Now, as the coordinates of the point P are A, B, so this distance will be A units and this distance will be B units. Right? Now, in triangle PMO, we have OM over OP. Yes, for this angle, this side is the base, this is the perpendicular, and this is the hypotenuse. So, OM over OP is base over hypotenuse. So, that will be cos x, cos of this angle. Now, OM is A, OP is the radius of the circle, which is 1 unit. So, A over 1 is cos x. So, therefore, A is equal to cos x. Similarly, PM over OP will be equal to perpendicular over hypotenuse, that will be equal to sin x. Now PM is B, OP is 1, this is sin x. So therefore B is equal to sin x. So What we have obtained? We took a point P with coordinates a comma b on this unit circle. Length of the arc AP was x, so therefore the angle subtended by this arc AP at the center of the circle was x radian. So what we have shown that the x coordinate of this point P, that is A, this is equals to cos x, and y coordinate is equal to sin x. Which means that any point which lie on this unit circle, suppose I take a point Q here, suppose this angle formed is y, then x coordinate of this point Q will give the value of cos y if this angle is y, and y coordinate will give you the value of sin y. Suppose this is the unit circle. This is x-axis, this is O. We have seen that any point on the circle, this point P lies on the circle, arc of the length AP was x, therefore this arc AP will subtend an angle x radian at the center. So the x coordinate of the point P will be equal to cos of x, y coordinate of the point P will be equal to sin x. That means if I take a point P dash here on the circle, right? Let the length of this arc be x. Then angle subtended by this arc at the center of the circle will be x radian. Then x coordinate of P will be equal to cos x, and y coordinate of this P dash will be equal to sin x. So coordinate of P dash will be cos x comma sin x. X coordinate will give you the value of cos x, and y coordinate of this point will give you the value of sin x. Now we will discuss the sign of trigonometric functions in different quadrants. Yes, just now we have discussed that if I take a point on this unit circle, if the length of the arc AP is x, then angle subtended by this arc AP at the center will be x radian. So in that case, the x coordinate of the point P will be cos x, and y coordinate will be equal to sin x. Right? Now first we need to understand that how do we determine that an angle lies in which quadrant. Yes, if the terminal side of the angle lies in the first quadrant, we say that angle lies in the first quadrant. If the terminal side of the angle lies in the second quadrant, then we say that angle lies in the second quadrant. Similarly, if the terminal side of the angle lies in the third quadrant, we say that angle lies in the third quadrant. And if the terminal side lies in the fourth quadrant, then angle lies in the fourth quadrant. For example, This is your Cartesian plane. Yes, we defined that angle is formed when a ray is rotated about its initial point. Let this be the initial position of the ray. Right? Now the ray rotates, and suppose it attains this terminal site. Now, because terminal site of the angle is lying in the first quadrant, so I say that this angle lies in the first quadrant. Similarly, suppose the initial position of the ray is this. Now, ray rotates this way, and this is the terminal position of the ray which is obtained after performing the rotation. Now, angle formed is this. Now, because the terminal site is lying in the second quadrant, we say that this angle lies in the second quadrant. Similarly, this is the initial position of the ray. This. Now the ray rotates like this, and it attains the terminal position this. So angle described as this. Now the terminal side is lying in the third quadrant. We say that this angle lies in the third quadrant. Similarly, this is the initial position of the ray. Ray rotates like this and it attains the terminal side, this side. So this angle theta, because the terminal side of this angle theta lies in the fourth quadrant, we say that angle theta lies in the fourth quadrant. So, the quadrant of the angle is decided on the basis of the position of the terminal side of the angle. If terminal side lies in the first quadrant, we say that angle is in the first quadrant. If terminal side lies in the second quadrant, then angle lies in the second quadrant. If terminal side lies in the third quadrant, then angle lies in the third quadrant. If terminal side lies in the fourth quadrant, then angle lies in the fourth quadrant. Right? So, let's take an angle OP x radian which lies in the first quadrant. This is the first quadrant, this is the second quadrant, this is the third quadrant, and this is the fourth quadrant. Now, terminal side of this angle AOP lies in the first quadrant. Therefore, we say that here x lies in the first quadrant. Right? Now, this point P lies on the unit circle. Therefore, the x coordinate will give you the value of cos x and y coordinate will give you the value of sin x. Right? Now, we know that when a point lies in the first quadrant, x coordinate is also positive, y coordinate is also positive. Right? So this point P lies in the first quadrant. Therefore, its x coordinate, that is cos x, will be positive. Its y coordinate, sin x, will also be positive. Now, tan x can be written as sin x over cos x. So sin x is positive, cos x is positive, so tan x will be positive, right? Then we have cosecant x. Cosecant x can be written as 1 over sin x. So 1 is positive, sin x is positive. So cosecant x will also be positive. Secant x can be written as 1 over cos x. 1 is positive, cos x is positive. So secant x will be positive. Then cot x can be written as cos x by sin x. Cos is positive, sin is positive, so cot will be positive. So you can see, if the angle lies in the first quadrant, all t ratios are positive. All are positive. So we have seen that if the angle lies in the first quadrant, then all t ratios are positive. Now let us consider an angle which lies in the second quadrant. Yes, this is the initial position of the ray. The ray rotates this way and attains this terminal side. Now this terminal side lies in the second quadrant. So we say that this angle x lies in the second quadrant. Now this point P lies on this unit circle. So x coordinate will be equal to cos x and y coordinate will be equal to sin x. Now this point P lies in the second quadrant, and we know that when a point lies in the second quadrant, its x coordinate is negative and y coordinate is positive. So x coordinate, which is cos x, it will be negative, and y coordinate, which is sin x, it will be positive. So when angle lies in the second quadrant, cos x is negative, sin x is positive. Now tan x, sin x over cos x, positive over negative, will give you the negative value. Cosecant x, which is 1 over sin x, positive over positive will give you positive value. So cosecant x will be positive. Secant x is equal to 1 over cos x. 1 is positive, cos is negative. So positive over negative will give you negative value. So secant x will be negative. Cot x is equal to cos x over sin x. Cos is negative, sin is positive. So negative over positive will give you negative value. So when the angle x lies in the second quadrant, sine function and cosecant function have the positive value, rest all are negative. Yes. Now let's consider the angle in the third quadrant. Yes. This is the initial position of the ray. Let the ray rotates this way and attains this terminal position. Angle formed is x, and because the terminal side lies in the third quadrant, so we say that x lies in the third quadrant. Now again this P point lies on the unit circle. So x coordinate will be equal to cos x and y coordinate will be equal to sin x. But this point P lies in the third quadrant. Therefore, x coordinate will be negative, y coordinate will be negative. So, when the angle x lies in the third quadrant, cos is negative, sin is negative. Now tan x, which is sin x over cos x, negative over negative will give you the positive answer. So tan x will be positive in third quadrant. Cosecant x. which is 1 over sine x. 1 is positive, sine is negative. So positive over negative will give you negative value. So cosecant x is negative. Then secant x, 1 over cos x. Positive over negative will give you negative value. So secant x is negative. Cot x is cos x over sine x. Cos is negative, sine is negative. So negative over negative will give you positive value. So in the third quadrant, tan x and its reciprocal cot x function have the positive value, rest have negative value, right? Now let us consider the case when angle lies in the fourth quadrant. Yes, this is the initial position of the ray. The ray rotates this way and attains this terminal site. This terminal site lies in the fourth quadrant, so we say that angle x lies in the fourth quadrant. This P point lies on this unit circle, so x coordinate will be cos x, y coordinate will be sin x. As this point P lies in the fourth quadrant, so x will be positive, y will be negative. So in the fourth quadrant, cos x will be positive, and sin x will be negative. Now tan x, which is sin x over cos x, negative over positive will give you negative value. Cosecant x, reciprocal of sin x, will be negative. Secant x, reciprocal of cos x, will be positive. Cot x, reciprocal of tan x, will be negative. So when the angle lies in the fourth quadrant, cos x and its reciprocal are positive and rest all are negative. So this table gives you the sign of trigonometric functions when angle lie in first, second, third or fourth quadrant. Yes. To memorize this, we have a memory aid. Yes, this is the quadrant. All students take coffee. Remember this phrase, all students take coffee. Yes, A stands for all. That means in first quadrant, all trigonometric functions have positive value. Then highlight this S. S stands for sine. So in second quadrant, sine function and its reciprocal, they are positive, rest negative. Here highlight this T. T stands for tan. So in the third quadrant, tan and its reciprocal, they are positive, rest negative. Highlight this C. C for cos. So in fourth quadrant, cos is positive and its reciprocal secant is positive, rest negative. So you have to keep in mind the sign of trigonometric functions in different quadrants, right?